Imagine Zeus stepping out of a silver ship, not from the top of Mount Olympus, but from the black velvet of the night sky. That is the hook. No one expected the possibility that our gods weren't born of thunder and sea foam, but of metal hulls and glowing engines. Back in the days when Greeks were little more than fishermen, farmers, and storytellers huddled around the fire, they told wild tales of beings too powerful to be human. Thunderbolts hurled from the clouds, gods walking among mortals, strange punishments that felt like cosmic science experiments. What if those weren't just stories? What if they were eyewitness accounts? Picture this. A storm splits the sky, and instead of lightning, a craft descends, gleaming like bronze, belching fire. Out walks a tall figure in armor, so radiant it blinds the shepherd who sees him first. He calls himself Zeus, master of thunder, and the people believe him because he wields a weapon that can crack mountains. But to us, looking back, what does that sound like? Not sorcery. Technology. A kind we still can't match. Take Prometheus. They said he stole fire from the gods and gave it to humanity. But maybe fire wasn't fire. Maybe it was knowledge energy, metallurgy, or even the spark of controlled electricity. Was he a rebel astronaut sharing classified tech with the locals? His punishment, chained to a rock while an eagle pecked at his liver, might be poetic storytelling of a much simpler truth. His betrayal was broadcast as an eternal warning. His downfall told to scare future generations into obedience. And what about Aphrodite? Goddess of love. She rises from the sea in a foam-born miracle. Maybe she didn't. Maybe she emerged from the wreckage of a downed craft that fell into the ocean, climbing ashore with strange beauty. Her presence overwhelming fragile human senses. Was her divinity just the reaction of simple people who couldn't explain the glow of her skin, or the subtle hum of the device she wore? The myths are riddled with things that make more sense through the astronaut's lens. Hermes with his winged sandals, jet propulsion. Helios riding a chariot across the sky, and orbital station, Hephaestus, forging weapons for the gods, an engineer working in a celestial machine shop. Each story sounds like villagers trying to make sense of advanced gear and strange powers. Now, what's most unsettling is how the gods acted. They weren't all-knowing or loving beings. They were jealous, cruel, passionate, even petty. They fell in love. They fought wars. They meddled in human affairs, often to the ruin of mortals. That, in a way, lines up better with astronauts than with eternal deities. These weren't perfected spirits. These were people maybe not exactly human, but people nonetheless struggling with desire, politics, and power, all while armed with technology that made them appear divine. The Trojan War. Could it have been sparked not by the beauty of Helen but by rival factions of these spacefaring gods, using humans as pawns in their quarrels? The golden apple that caused so much strife, was it? A symbol for a coveted piece of alien tech, something worth starting a war over. Here's where it gets eerie. If they came once, why not again? Ancient ruins around the world, from the precision-cut stones of Puma, Punku to the massive heads of Easter Island, carry whispers of the same story. Not gods, but visitors. Not myths, but memories of encounters, blurred by centuries of retelling. And maybe the Greeks weren't worshipping mere figments of imagination. Maybe, when they raised their temples, built their statues, and performed their sacrifices, they were desperately trying to keep open the lines of communication with beings who had once descended from the stars. It is a thought that rattles the cage of history, that our civilization didn't grow up alone, that in our past we were apprentices under cosmic teachers who walked among us, loved us, and used us. We wrapped their deeds in stories of gods, because that's the only language we had. But in truth, we may have been describing astronauts who came here long before rockets ever left Cape Canaveral. And if those astronauts were real, if Olympus was never a mountain, but a mothership, then what if they're still out there, watching, waiting for the right moment to descend again?